Okay, we're getting a late start today. Ended up taking the tank off just because I need to run some wires through here to an auxiliary fuse box back here. So I took the battery out, took the tank off. Not real hard, there's just a fuel pump, I guess, connector here and a wiring harness. You need to kind of lift up a little bit, prop it up, unhook this connector and this one. I went ahead and zip tied a little bag over this so nothing gets in there. And I think there's a little gasoline leak in there. I need to get a paper towel. And there's two connectors that connect to the side of the tank. I put a couple rubber nipples on those and plugged off the tank. It shouldn't leak at all because of the fuel pump, but just in case, I went ahead and just put that in there. So that should be fine. And I think I had 3/4 of a tank. Probably not recommended to do it with that much in there, but it wasn't that heavy to get off there. Just in case there's a little seepage from that connector. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mount a auxiliary fuse box in here and some other wiring and start working on that. Putting in the USB connector, switch here. I'm going to try and get to the heated grips and a couple other things. So there's a lot to do today, and that is stripped down. So let me grab a couple things and we will get started. Okay, so previously I'd kind of cut out part of this divider here where the tool kit goes. I'm going to mount this fuse box here with some Velcro. I didn't want to permanently mount it. I kind of want it just to be Velcroed down in case I need to move it later for whatever reason. So I didn't want to screw in here, plus I think that might go through to the bottom. I also didn't want to do some double-sided stick tape that might crack the plastic if I need to get this off there. So I'm going to wipe it down with some alcohol and put the Velcro on. Wipe the back of this off, just so. Let's measure that. So I want the softer side down in case I need to pull this out ever and remove it, and then it'll just be kind of that fuzzy part rather than the kind of prickly part. So I'm gonna mount this here. Okay, so I'm going to mount it where these that need to connect to the battery and the trigger wire are over on this side, and then there's a connection rail here. So let's just secure that on there. I don't want to push down too hard on this circuit board, but I do want to make sure it's nice and connected. Put those out of the way. And this is a trigger wire that I had already previously connected into the license plate wire when I did the Add More light bar kit. So I have that here, and that will eventually connect to this wire. This is to the positive lead of the battery and to the negative, and then when the power is on to the bike, it switches 3 of these circuits on. There are 2 circuits that are always on if you for whatever reason want to use those. I don't really intend to, but there are 3 fused circuits that you can use that are triggered by this relay when the bike is on. It also had some wiring. This kit is made for if you, I guess, have a cafe bike. It has some wiring to do turn signals and pretty much, you know, just basic wiring of the bike. I desoldered that wiring off here because I'm not going to use that side of this box. I just really needed this stuff, and you know, I think this was $50, and it has, you know, comes in a little case, and I kind of sealed it up, and it just seemed like a better solution than trying to fabricate something with a relay and some other parts. You know, I can put the cover on it and label it, and I've got 3 fused outlets, so it makes it nice and convenient. All right, so I will leave that there, get this wiring out of the way. Move all this to the side till later when I need to wire that in. I bought some Denali, I think they're DM 2.0 lights. These I'm going to mount on each side of the forks as running lights, and I bought the DataTrim, I guess, option where you can have a high and low, otherwise it would just be on full blast. So this I'm probably going to try and mount somewhere in here as well. And then the rest of this harness runs up to the front of the bike, and then this I'll trim these and connect that in here. And I believe this has a built-in relay as well, but the way I'm going to wire it, it's just going to be wired into here. So I'm going to run some of this wiring for this harness here. That can live back here, and this I may have to mount this somewhere in the battery area. That actually might work the best, so I'm going to see how that works. Just going to leave that there for a minute. Oh, looks like some convenient areas to zip tie things. So alright, leave that there. Gosh, if that works out good where the battery is, that will be great. Get that out of the way. Oh, this might just work out lovely. Let me get some zip ties, and I'm gonna just tie some of this in. Run this under here. I will get a better look at the cable routing in a moment. So I've run this cable here under this bar up around here. I'm going to zip tie it up through here, and it's going to come out there with the two connections, and then I've got some other wiring for other things. So, but this looks like it's going to work out pretty easy. Everybody's out riding today but me. But I really want to get this stuff done. Probably zip tie that to this harness here. The tank will sit on this, so you don't want it to get in the way of that, but I'm gonna zip tie it to this harness there. Not real tight on this. This has got some cabling, so I'm just going to kind of keep it loose. Okay, let's see. So it comes up through here. I'll probably run it under this wire retainer here, and these connections will come out over here where they can then be connected to the lights that will be down here. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and fit those on real quick just to see how long the cabling is. There's actually a nut behind here, but you can just grab this and unscrew it. Might need this washer, but I don't know for sure. Get this other side. Okay, these mounts are meant to go connect to something else, but then I had to buy a separate kit for the fender mount, which basically comes with some long bolts and some spacers. So let's see, $40 for a bunch of bolts and what appears to be maybe plastic spacers. Bastards. So I'm going to take this stuff off. So we don't need those, but we will need these little lock washers just when they finally get aimed and torqued down and Loctited. Once they're in a position with bumps and everything, you don't want them to shift out of position. So we're gonna need those again. Let's see what. I probably have the instructions somewhere, but I don't work that way. Can't tell. Yeah, maybe they're aluminum. All right. Okay. No idea what that's for. These all look too long. I don't know. Put one here. One here. The washer that I took off back on. So I'm not going to tighten that down yet, but I'm going to, I do want to run this wire behind this, so I'll do that now. Yeah, 5mm. Just enough. I'm going to run that behind here and then up into there. And do this side. Again, we're going to take off this hardware that comes on it, keeping these. Literally could probably have fabricated something like this just from some hardware stuff instead of buying the $40 kit to mount these on the fender. So I'm going to put one here. One here. Put the spacer in. The washer that was already on here. Like I said, I didn't read the instructions on how to put this on. I'll look at it again. So if the bolt sequence or whatever is different, I'll deal with that. These look like they are maybe a 3. Yeah, a 3. Not going to tighten them all the way down just yet, but I just want to get them relatively in position. It's not even the right size bolt. I came with a bunch of bolts and I grabbed the wrong one. Let's try this one. Okay, let me show you what I've done. So in the kit it comes with all these bolts that you can, you know, just for your application, there's different ones. I ended up using one that's a little bit longer than needed because I'm going to take the nylon nut that comes with the original mount, and it gives me some space to put that on the inside. So I've got these lock washers here once that's really tightened down, and then this is threaded through here, but then at the very other end I can really lock it down, and I'll have a nylon lock nut on the inside as well. So it just comes out maybe a 1/2 inch, but there's a shorter bolt that fits this better, almost flush, but I kind of like doing it this way so you can see maybe that it comes out about yay far. So I think that'll do what I want. Run this wire. On this one, I don't need to go behind here because I already have something to kind of go behind. So the wire comes around here, up through there. Same with this one, although I routed it behind this, just so it's not out here. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Probably isn't. But this makes it up here. So I'm going to see where that connection that I've run to the front is, and they're right here. So I'm going to go ahead and connect those. So these will end up connecting in right here. It doesn't matter which side because both the same light. I'll fit that back through here. Yeah, all right. So they're fitted in there. I will probably zip tie them to something once I'm certain of the exact fitment. Run some of this cable back. This is working out pretty good. And a relative idea of how that's going to look. This one's aimed down a little bit, but yeah, I'll deal with those cables in a few. Now I modified this switch because I want this to actually be the trigger to go from just on to bright for those fork mounted lights, And then the switch that came with the Denali is going to be handlebar mounted, and I have that wired to the end connector that will turn on the LEDs, because I don't want to have to push up here for the auxiliary lights. So this will just be the bright switch for those fork mounts, and then I'll have a switch here that will turn on my side LEDs that from Kawasaki. So I didn't make a video of that, but I spent some time figuring out the wiring and rewired this stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead. The 3 screws that held the mounting plate, or the cover plate, I have those over there, and I'm just going to reuse those 1, 2, and 3, and that will mount that there. And they're just Phillips heads. So, although one is a little bit of a pain to get to. So for the far one, you'll need an angle to get to. I didn't see a straight way of getting to it. Don't go crazy on these, it's just screwing into plastic. And it looks like you can get to that with a straight screwdriver. Okay. So that's in. This harness will go down here. I'll trim these wires. I'm actually just gonna use these. There's a power amount, or once the relay is in here, this has power to it, but I'm not gonna use this to power the USB. I'm gonna run a different wire. But this will light the light that's in here, and just that voltage will run a trigger wire back to this connection, which triggers the brights on those. I'm gonna go get this USB fitting, and I'll put that in. I'll take a little break here for a minute.